The gold rush is on. Should you be buying gold right now? Should you be investing in gold? That's what I'm talking about today. This is your next Wise Step video. My name is Mike Bernard. I am the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Thanks for being here. If this is your first time to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. My guess is you're going to be seeing lots of people that look just like me, maybe sound like me on the radio, telling you now is the time to buy gold. Part of that might be fueled by the recent rally we've seen in gold over the past couple of years and even the past couple of months. But I actually think it's due more to the fact that people that are telling you to invest in gold usually prey on fear. And there's lots of fear going on in the markets right now and in the economy. So what should you do? Should you be buying gold? Is there any validity to those claims? Well, let's break it down. The very first thing that they're going to tell you, they're going to appeal to that fear side of you, and they're going to tell you that gold as an investment is a safe haven. Safe haven, let's break that down. I think safe haven is something that's very, very steady and calm in the face of a lot of uncertainty. So when everything else is sort of behaving wildly, your investments are going all over the place, a safe haven is calm. Well, let's break that down. Over the past 10 years or so, as the US stock market has surged, coming off of the Great Recession, gold hasn't really done much. If you look over the past 10 years, it's been fairly flat. Well, is that a very flat line? No, it's been way down and way up. It's been extremely volatile. But the other thing that I would tell you, and why I usually tell people gold is not the safe haven that you think it is just recently, in the recent market downturn, I want to say crash because that's what it felt like, in the middle of March, when the sell-off in stocks and in bonds was really intensifying, was gold your safe haven? No. During the couple weeks mid-March, gold dropped 20% as well, or more. I don't have the exact number, but gold dropped just as much as stocks during this crucial time where you probably needed a safe haven, right? And the same thing happened in the fall of '08, right when everyone was panic selling and you need a safe haven, you're going to rely on a safe haven. Gold was dropping just as quickly. It's extremely volatile and doesn't usually hold up during those most extreme times when you want a safe haven. So I'm saying that's a myth. Don't fall for that. The second reason they're going to tell you you've got to invest in gold is it's a great inflation hedge. And because of all the money printing and everything else, we're going to see tons of inflation, and gold is a great inflation hedge. Right now, especially over the past 10 years or so, gold has not been moving in a correlated way with inflation. Sorry for that geeky term there. It's not moving in step with inflation. We have seen extremely low inflation. Extremely low inflation. If you look at the velocity of money, it's likely that's going to continue because money is not getting pushed around the system. Even though we've got record amounts of money getting thrown out there, it's not making its way into consumers' hands where they're spending it. So we've seen record low inflation, but over the past 5-6 years, gold has run up in value significantly. So if you look at what's happened with all the money printing and money injecting over the past 10 years since the Great Recession, you'd say, oh, certainly we're going to see inflation, but we didn't. And yet gold still did decent over the past 5 to 6 years. So it's decoupled from inflation. Whether we see inflation or not, I think is going to be a big question. I have my doubts about whether we'll see inflation. I think deflation is more likely than inflation. And if gold is supposed to help you during inflationary times, if we see deflation, then you should get out of gold, right? It's not working connected. I wouldn't say there's any correlation there. So anyone saying, well, we're going to see inflation, therefore you've got to buy gold, I would disagree. I would disagree with that as well. The third reason they're likely going to tell you you need to buy gold is because it's a tangible asset. And one of the things they're probably going to point to is our currency has moved off the gold standard, 40, 50 years ago, and we've got all this money printing, therefore we're devaluing our currency. You want to hold a tangible asset. Well, you got me there. Honestly, I don't have an argument for that because honestly, I'm very concerned about the fiscal stance of our of our country and the amount of deficit and the amount of debt that we have, it's almost as like the typical American, and certainly the politicians, don't really care, that it's just going to be fine and so on. I'm actually very worried about that as a potential huge threat out there in the future. What I would tell you though, as it relates to gold, is that is pure speculation. If there, maybe we'll have this huge inflection point where we've got to get off of this paper currency that has no backing and we've got to shift back to gold. Possibly, I think what would be needed in order for that to happen would be almost an Armageddon type scenario financially. And if that's the case, if that's what you're preparing for, maybe having some gold would be the case. But the idea that, well, cash is not backed by anything, therefore you need to hold a tangible asset like gold, that's a decent argument. But in my opinion, it's a bit far-fetched before something like that would actually materialize and need to happen. So what do? I would, number one, be on your guard about the folks that are trying to sell you based on fear. Tons of fear, tons of pain right now. I think the vultures are going to be coming out telling you, you've got to buy gold, you got to buy gold, you got to buy gold. It's not the safe haven that you think. It can move opposite directions of the stock market at times, but it's not the safe haven that you think. We haven't seen inflation. We might not see inflation, so I probably would argue against that. And then just the pure idea of, well, it's tangible, you'll always be able to sell it to someone and our currency's being devalued. To me, that's a legitimate concern, but not one that I would say is really, really likely to happen, and not a reason to invest a lot of money in gold. So number one, I would be skeptical and I would watch out. The second thing that I would tell you is your investment strategy should not be based on speculation. And investing in gold is typically speculation. The average millionaire gets there by saving a small amount over long periods of time. You didn't want to hear that, you want to hear quick fix, but the average millionaire takes about 28 years to get there. They're saving a little bit at a time. Speculating in gold does not help people go from just modest means, middle class, to millionaire. So I would tell you, if you want to own gold a little bit because of your concern about things and so on, then own it a little bit. I wouldn't speculate on it though. I wouldn't jump in there because everyone's telling you you've got to invest in it. That could be a serious mistake. So avoid speculating in gold. If you want to own a little piece of it in part of your diversified portfolio and momentum portfolio, then go ahead. And the third thing that I would tell you is, if you are looking for a safe haven, if you are concerned about inflation, if you are concerned about the money printing and all of that, make sure you have a momentum strategy in your overall investment approach. We have a momentum strategy. We call it our dynamic model. It has shifted into gold and other types of investments in the past. And so I would make sure you've got a good, solid, long-term investment strategy. And if you are concerned about everything that's going on today, make sure you've got a momentum component to it. So watch out for those folks who are trying to sell you just based on fear, and the only solution they can offer is a product that is gold. The solution is a process, comprehensive financial planning, figuring out all 6 areas of your financial life, how they work together, helping you make great financial decisions. Contact your CFP to take your next wise step. If you don't have a CFP in your life doing comprehensive financial planning, you can always contact my firm. You can find us online, corehorn.com. That's Corehorn with a K. All right, have a great weekend. You're now ready. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.